read and walk on the wild side. Good morning, everybody. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. Chris Street's here with you. And Thursdays have kind of become a thing now with the Clinton Regional Development Corporation.
It's Wednesday.
What is today?
Wednesday.
Are you sure?
You do lunch menus. You should know this.
I don't look at the day. I scratch out the previous day and I just read the next one. You know how many times I've forgotten to scratch one and then I read the same one 2 days in a row? Come on. I'm in radio. It doesn't matter what day it is. I'm here all the time.
Today's your wife's birthday.
No.
Oh, great. I was just trying to throw you off.
We're still months from that, I think. Yeah. 6 months from it. It's her half birthday.
Nice.
Yesterday was half birthday. All right, so anyway, as you can tell by that golden tone coming over microphone number 2, Andy Sokolovich is here in studio, and you brought a wonderful guest.
Yes, I did. We tried to bring wonderful guests.
And she couldn't make it, so you brought Chris.
Oh, boom. Zing. So, thanks for having us. As always, my name is Andy Sokolovich, the Vice President of Economic Development for the Clinton Regional Development Corporation.
Sounds so important.
It does. Hey, real quick, before I introduce Senator Cournoyer, I want to tell you that today from 11 to 1 p.m., so 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., over at the former Ashford Call Center, just off of Mill Creek, 1310 19th Avenue Northwest, we're having a drive-through career fair. What does that mean? Well, you drive up, we're going to hand you a bag stuffed full of career opportunities from around the Clinton region, and then you drive away. So it is contactless. We're applying social distancing. It's simple. It's kind of low-hanging fruit for us, but we have to call an audible with all the COVID stuff going on. So from today, 11 to 1 p.m., if you're in the hunt for a new career, you just want to see what's out there, swing by the former Ashford Call Center off the Mill Creek Bypass. Check us out. We'll be there again from 11 to 1.
Let me tell you something. I've been doing interviews for the last 2.5 weeks with people who are hiring.
I know.
I've had industries from the Illinois side and the Iowa side begging people to come and apply for jobs. Good paying jobs. You know, that $18 to $20 an hour. And they're having trouble filling these spots. So you guys have a drive-through career fair. We've got ads running from everything from a line cook to forklift operators. Yeah. And there are so many jobs right now open to people out there.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities. So, you know, every Wednesday we like to bring in an individual who has a lot of great things to say about the organization, but does amazing stuff for the state and for the region, and today is no exception. I want to introduce Iowa Senator Chris Cournoyer. Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. You know, I'm a big fan of the Clinton Regional Development Authority because, you know, as Chris mentioned, you are a pretty big deal, Andy. And
you would never say that.
Do not
you
say
would never
things
say
like that.
It's being recorded, right?
Yeah.
So, but what Andy and Aaron Cole in the office do is really quite unique. It's a public-private partnership where you are coming together and working together with all the entities in the region to really work on just one thing, economic development. And that's really quite unique. And it's really important because really, you know, in the Iowa Senate, I serve on the Budget Subcommittee for Economic Development. And really, without economic development, we can't fund our priorities like education and public safety and mental health and everything else that's important to us as a community. And, you know, for Clinton, the Clinton region in general, I think it's really important that we have everybody at the table working together to, you know, not only to attract and retain businesses, but to attract and retain that workforce, that skilled, educated workforce, making sure that we're working with our K through 12 and our community colleges to make sure that we're teaching our kids the right skills that they need to help with the economic health of our region.
And Senator Cournoyer has been a huge advocate for us here in Clinton. Most recently, we passed the Motel Tax, which is something that, you know, we were very passionate about locally here, but you kind of took the ball and ran with it at the state level. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that and your efforts?
Yeah, sure. There was a loophole in the Motel Tax that was really affecting not just Clinton County, but communities across the state where if you go and stay in a hotel, for example, for less than 30 days, you pay that Motel Tax. But the loophole came in where if you stay for more than 30 days, you not only don't pay the Motel Tax, you get a refund for 0 through 30 days. And that was money out of the pockets of the county. For Clinton specifically, that was out of that was money out of our pockets for economic development and tourism and attraction
Absolutely.
of people to the area. So closing that loophole was really important.
Yeah, I think it's important that everybody realize we have strategic partners. both in Des Moines and here in Clinton. I mean, Senator Cournoyer has been one of those partners. Other elected officials continue to be one of those partners, so we're not doing this alone. So, Chris, when you and I sit down and we discuss career opportunities or opportunities for economic development, know that it is a team effort. There's not one person leading that charge. It takes everybody. And even whether you're an elected official or you work for the Clinton Regional Development Corporation, you play a part in economic development and the future well-being of this community.
And I think what Andy and Aaron do also is they are out and about and really leveraging all those resources that we have at the federal and state level, so that when a business comes to them or someone's looking to expand their business or they need some help, they're able to leverage those resources. So the services they provide for our local businesses is really quite critical. And they also advocate for issues that impact our workforce and our economic development, such as health, where our accessible and affordable childcare is,
right.
Transportation, that expansion, the 4-lane expansion of Highway 30, transportation, broadband, not just access to broadband, but bandwidth, making sure people have enough bandwidth. And then, what makes Clinton County and the region a great place to live, work, and raise a family, making sure that we have recreational opportunities and that people know what a great place this is to live.
Yeah, Senator Cournoyer mentioned broadband and the reliability and availability of high-speed internet, and that's something we're working on right now. And I'm excited because we're very close to being able to offer options beyond just the 2 mega options that you're aware of. So it is exciting to kind of diversify our utilities throughout the region, and we need help from our state and elected officials to be able to support that.
Yeah, I live out in the country, middle of nowhere, and I have fiber optic to my house.
Yes.
I have fiber optic television, I have fiber optic internet, and I see Miles Telephone Co-op working their way towards Clinton and a couple of they didn't go down this road, I might add, but they are going down 67 and working on offering that fiber optic, as a possibility for families and businesses. And I'll tell you what, I've never seen anything like it.
Scott Bodie out of Miles is a great dude, and these things just don't happen on their own,
no.
right?
And I asked him if he could run from my house to here, what it would cost. I said, never mind. I'll just stay on what we got, because it's not cheap to be putting fiber optic in everywhere either.
Yeah, and the Empower Rural Iowa initiative that's led by Lieutenant Governor Adam Gregg, that was one of the 3 priorities is rural broadband across the state. And, we passed a bill in the legislature that gave another $15 million to that expansion. And then Governor Reynolds was able to leverage some of the federal CARES Act money to put more money into the federal or the rural broadband expansion. And, through the pandemic, we've seen how important that is with kids learning from home, parents or people working from home, and then, of course, telehealth, which has had a massive boom through this. I think the use of technology throughout the pandemic has certainly magnified the need to continue to push broadband across the state.
No, there's no doubt whatsoever,
Yeah, I couldn't imagine living life without it. To me, I geek out on technology, and I work with businesses, and the first thing they do is they ask, okay, what are my fiber options? What do I have for fiber optics? Is it in the ground? Is it overhead? And they want to know. Why? Because their business, not only their business is run through the internet, but also maintenance now is huge. Equipment can actually be repaired via satellite office 150 miles away, 200 miles away. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how much. I'm not a geek about internet and all that kind of stuff. And
just Elvis, Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, that's the important stuff. I don't care about the internet, but to know where I live, my son has that option when he starts learning more than preschool, because I can teach him R and Apple. I am that. So above that, I'm in trouble.
Yeah,
but. No, to have that, and I know that it is an initiative, and I think it's very important, not only to rural, but to the folks in town, making it an affordable option as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask, what are your priorities kind of moving into the next legislative session? I mean, you got some big things to accomplish, but I know you're always motivated and doing great things for our region.
Yeah, well, we did find out that we ended last fiscal year with a $305 million surplus, so that's good news for the state. And then the REC, which is the Revenue Estimating Conference, met yesterday, and it looks like the projections for revenue coming into the state are strong again for the next fiscal year. So, we're going to continue to be cautiously optimistic with that, but I think, Iowa as a state is in a really strong fiscal position going into the next year. So the fact that we were able to maintain a status quo budget as we went through the pandemic. We were really, the casinos shut down, and
Right.
a lot of the casino money goes into infrastructure. Gas, people weren't driving as much during the pandemic, so we weren't bringing in as much gas tax for roads and bridges. But somehow through all of it, we have been able to maintain that surplus that we left in the last fiscal year, and we're going into the next fiscal year strong. And we were also able to maintain that promise of $99 million of additional money into K-12 education, which is really important to me. So we'll continue working on issues that impact economic development, like that affordable child care piece. I know that something that the governor was really focusing on last year was that sustainable funding for mental health. There was talk of a statewide penny where 3/8 would go to conservation and water quality and recreational priorities, which I think is really important across the state. But what would happen with that other 5/8 of the penny, and hopefully the sustainable funding of mental health would be that. So, I was one of only 3 states that uses property taxes to pay for mental health, and we really need to get mental health off of the property taxes and find a sustainable, predictable funding stream for that.
It's an antiquated system, especially in a state of 3 million.
For sure.
So
yeah, and the needs for mental health have really increased. I mean, 10 years ago, people didn't talk about mental health.
Right.
People didn't talk about it. They were maybe embarrassed about it. They didn't want to, let people know that they were having issues. Now, people know that it's okay to talk about mental health. They know that the services exist, and as people become aware of the services and they're more willing to get help, the needs have increased, and hence the need for sustainable funding.
Well, I think the pandemic has really shined a spotlight on that problem as well.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Being
I'm
locked up in your house with kids will drive anybody crazy.
Yeah, and I'm getting Zoom fatigue.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
It's not the same as being face to face like
Yeah.
we are here in the studio. So,
I always just say my camera's not working,
Yeah.
and then I just leave the room and let them think I'm in the meeting. It works.
Every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna continue. Public education, I think, we're probably gonna have to look at how we deliver public education going forward.
Sure.
We don't know if the COVID will continue to hit us again this fall or this winter as the weather changes. So, how we deliver quality education to all students. I mean, something that is very concerning to me is, the kids that are choosing that online option. Some of them aren't logging in.
Right.
And, there's going to be a real achievement gap for those that aren't participating in the educational system right now. And that's going to be a real concern, making sure that we keep them where they need to be, or if we need to really catch them up. Because, we certainly don't want those that don't have access to that, online learning to fall farther behind.
Is a fear, too, about the social adjustment? If you're at home, you don't have that adjustment of your social life at school. Is that a fear too at a state level? You guys are looking at that as either mental health or education problem, that these kids are stuck at home looking at a computer to try and do their homework with no interaction?
No doubt. I mean, a lot of these kids, if they're on free and reduced lunch, I mean, that going to school is a source of
Right.
2 meals for them during the day. A lot of children, 2 of my children, in fact, received mental health services at school, and they received a lot of additional services that they won't get if they're learning from home.
Right.
I mean, you can log in and get some of those services like counseling and things like that, but it's just not the same as if it is in person. And, a lot of the, child abuse, some of that is, seen by the teachers. They see the kid, when they see the kids every day
Yeah.
in school, they can identify when that kid isn't acting normal or it looks like they're having some issues. And when they're not coming to school, we're not able to address those issues that, if a kid is at home, maybe the safest place for them is in school sometimes, which is really sad.
One of the things we've been able to leverage technology for is to actually get companies into the classroom. We leverage Microsoft Teams to do that recently in celebration of Manufacturing Awareness Month, which is October, and Clinton was built on the backs of hardcore blue-collar workers in the manufacturing sector. And when you go outside and take a big inhale and you smell that smell, and it often gets made fun of, I call that the smell of money,
Absolutely.
right? Because what is the trickle-down economic effect of all of those paychecks? And we've been able to bring in Mike Mahalan from Custom Pack. We brought in Carrie Fenzel from Collis. We brought in Brian Tinlin from Lined Up Cell, and they've been able to engage the students virtually. So we are leveraging technology to continue generating awareness of the careers that are available within the Clinton region.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. I mean, there's a lot of great, good paying jobs, like you said, in this area. And, I have two that have graduated from high school, and, don't think that you have to leave Iowa to get a great job.
Right.
There are jobs right here in our own backyard, and it is really important for our local businesses to connect with education, get those teachers out into the business so that they can see what jobs exist, so they can share that with their students in the classroom, and then they can find out, like, what kind of skills do you need? And what can I take back into my classroom and start talking to the kids about? You probably had the same thoughts that I had when I was in school. Like, when am I ever going to learn that? When am I going to use this?
Right.
When am I going to use this in the real world? Well, when business and education are partnering and really communicating, that really helps make sure that we're preparing our kids for the great jobs that we have right here in Clinton County, which I think is fantastic.
No, well said.
Absolutely. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Sokolovich?
No, I just said one more last plug today from 11 to 1, Ashford Call Center, 1310 19th Avenue Northwest here in Clinton. We'll have our drive-through career fair. So swing by. I can't give you a high five or a hug. I'm a hugger. Can't do that anymore.
That's why our relationship didn't last. You're a hugger.
You held on a little too long. That's what happened there. And then, so I'll give you a bag full of job opportunities. You drive away, and there you go. Easy peasy.
And like I said, there's a lot of jobs out there for every educational background and every physical ability. There's something out there.
Absolutely.
It's crazy how many's out there.
Chris, thank you so much for the time. Senator Cournoyer, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's an honor.
I appreciate it. We'll see you next Wednesday.
All right, sounds good. It's 8:26. Again, a big thanks to Senator Cournoyer and Andy. Clinton Regional Development Corporation. You want to know more about them? Call Andy and talk to him. Find out exactly what they're doing. If you're not catching it all while we're talking here on the radio, he loves to talk. So give him a buzz. Or if you want to be more in depth with hands-on with something CRDC is doing, find out more information by calling Andy. It's 8:26. More music coming up here on MAC 94.7.
Skyline Center is currently hiring direct support professionals.
Excellent.
Who is helping to assist individuals.
That was great. Good energy.